Hey guys, I'm Morthadon, and we are back for Oshi no Ko Season 2, Episode 2. Alright, last episode was amazing, and just the way they used art, some of the visual stuff in that episode, some like the way they used the paint splashing on the people and like converting them into kind of the characters that they're being like thrusted into. The way the lead actor who came up looking kind of, not clean shaven, looking a little raggedy. I honestly, I was kind of like, he's the lead when I first saw him. I didn't really talk about that in the discussion of last episode, but then he just like kicked it into gear and just stepped into the scene and pulled Kana right along with him. So it was really good. We had some good stuff from Akane too, where she had this internal struggle of what her character is supposed to be, and she's struggling to portray it during rehearsals because in the manga, or the source material, I should say, I don't know if it's a manga. Uh, it's she acts one way, and then in the script she acts another way because they had to change her a little bit for the sake of time for the play. So, but now we have the original author coming in of the source material and just says, "Can we change the whole thing?" So, okay, let's see what happens there. I'm excited. Let's get started here, guys, in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, now. Oh, right into the opening. I still think I like the song of the previous better, but I really like these visuals. By the way, guys, I promise it's been a bit since I watched the last episode. Like, not quite a week, but almost a week. I know I'm wearing the same shirt as the last episode. If you happen to be observant enough that you noticed, I noticed too. I legit just grabbed this shirt at random, put it on, and then realized, oh, I wore this shirt last week. I wonder if I wore it in the shows I'm recording. And I looked, and yep, sure enough. And I don't know why I bothered looking, because after looking, I was like, well, should I change my shirt? Nah, I'm too freaking lazy to do that. I'll just address it. But I said it's been through the wash. I promise. I forget that scene with the Ruby just coming in, all cheery. I don't think I could ever be with someone with the energy that Ruby has. I just don't have that level of energy. Oh, that's so cool. Change it all. It's crazy that they're considered sensei, yet is the youngest out of everyone here. But I guess because of, like, more success? Which part? All of it! The way the voice changed when they said that, too. Simbu. Oh, wait. Excuse me? Where are we going? Back in time. Gonna go back in time. Day of the preliminary meeting. Yeah. Busted. Nice. He's working at it. Good for him. I'm kind of glad we got this scene. They just did introductions. Right, I don't think I got your name last time. Like, shorten the name. Oh, interesting. So many names. I'm only getting a portion of them. Sorry, guys. A shit. Okay, wasn't too hard of a hit. Like, he's about to boot him in the face. Yeah. Man, they didn't address this last episode. Look at his eyes, though. Did you guys see his eyes? They were lit up. No matter how he sounds and looks, we had the eyes. I thought they were gonna... I mean, they kind of addressed his demeanor and stuff a little bit there, but we didn't have anyone else, like, talk or think about it. Thought we were. Hmm. Kana. Oh, you're spoiling! Spoilers! You're telling their secrets! Oh, Kana. Is this why she was narrating the way she did? Are you sure you're not just broadcasting your own jealousness? Looks like somebody's touchy. Hmm. Damn. He wanted... He wanted to be told how bad it was. Props to this guy, man. That's awesome. I love people like that, that want to be told when they're doing something wrong or something that needs to be improved. There's too many people that are like, if you give them criticism, they're like offended by it. But it's like, hmm. Long since surpassed me. Hmm. Are we still back before everything? Yeah, so this is still before, I believe. I don't know if you guys heard that. Sorry about that. That was like that wasn't even a burp. That was like a noise that just came from deep within. That was horrible. I have a friend that does that too. He'll eat, and then like 5 minutes after he eats, he'll like be back and brush my teeth. Ah, they always say the name. I still, I mean, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter their gender, but they keep saying like Abiko Sensei instead of saying like he or her. Oh, oh my god. Yo, I need to try that. I'm writing it down. I think it's she, right? I think that she's definitely a weirdo. Is that what she just said? And I assume she was walking into the ladies' room, but l- lately there are co-ed bathrooms, so it could have been that. Damn, it's not good. I like the respect. Oh no, that was a glare. Holy shit. Wow, she's going ham. Oh shit. Hmm. Oh shit. Oh shit. She went ham. There's still a lot more I want to say. I'm out of here. Poor Goa. Like that was brutal. I imagine there would be. So the creator isn't even there. Hmm. Damn. Shit. Yeah. Yep. And then it gets shifted a little bit. Tone it down. Damn. This is cool that it's showing the process, though. Wild. And then it just gets watered down to just that. Wow. Yeah. That's what she was told it would get better if she sees it, but she said it's not. Mm-hmm. Not being acknowledged at all can be frustrating. Oh shit. Oh shit. I am now the scriptwriter, or else. Damn. It'll be the company that has to pay. Then pay up. Oh. Oh, the poor guy. I kind of feel bad for him. Interesting. Wonder if that's true. Damn. Wow. Shit. That's. I can imagine how hard it would be, too. Okay, so a sense of pride. Also, I mean, if it ends up being bad because she's not a scriptwriter, right? So if she doesn't know how to do it right for a play, then if it goes badly and his name is in the credits, he could get chastised. Oh. Uh-oh. I hope it goes well and he doesn't get chastised for it. Yeah. Anime characters already always working so hard that they are feverish enough to put like a towel on their head or whatever that thing is we always see in anime. It's just one person's opinion though, Goa. Damn. Okay, I was gonna say, did we time skip to when they have it, or do they already have it, or... But no. We're on hold. Do they have to be done at a certain time, or is it just like when it's done, and then they can do it? Oh no. What is that art? Hmm. I have to admit, I'm not a big play person. I imagine that would be the case, yeah. With all the other forms of media out there. Are they gonna watch one? Oh. Okay. No shit. Game of telephone. Cool. That was a really good episode, guys. We got really deep into these characters and also the world of putting on these plays. Um First thing, I guess, just starting at the top of my list of things that I kind of wrote down that I want to talk about is I mean, it's also just a sign of respect, I guess, too, but they kept calling her sensei and everything, but it's really interesting because a lot of the times, at least in school, in anime, I see if they're a year older or more than a year older, if they're the upperclassmen in the school, they're considered, or maybe that's senpai, not sensei. Sensei is like teacher, right? Senpai is like you're older than me, I think. Actually, maybe that's it. But, even I can't remember her name, but the girl who wrote Sweet Today, she was Abiko addressed her as sensei and she addressed her as sensei back. They kind of had that relationship because Abiko was that Sweet Today girl's assistant, but then surpassed her. So Sweet Today girl said it as said sensei to her, but then Abiko still felt obligated to say sensei back. And then because she's the scriptwriter, everyone else said, not the scriptwriter, she was the source material creator. Everyone else there, like, called her sensei. But it's just really interesting having, like, almost everyone in that room is older than her except for some of the actors. And they're all, like, calling her sensei, you know, and all that. But anyways, guys, that is it for episode 2. It's actually been done for, like, I wanted to finish what I was saying, but it was done for, like, a few seconds. Anyway, so that was interesting. I also think we got our answer of she. If I jump back to that point, where would that be? That was before the whole sub-editor thing. It would have been the bathroom. Can I go to the bathroom real fast? We got the dual brushing, which is really funny. We'll talk about that in a bit. I just wanted to see, I think she says right here, she's a weirdo. Yep, so she addresses her as she, so I shall too. Okay. Yeah. Anyway. I just wanted to double check that I really read that. I went to write down double brushing at that point, and so I looked up and skimmed that line real fast, so I wasn't sure if I read what I read there. But, okay. Before we get into that part, though, we had kind of a lot of this episode took place as or I guess a portion of the episode took place as a flashback to before they did these rehearsals, and we had them seeing Melt there for the first time, which we didn't have before. Before, it was just they were there, they already knew he was there and everything. But I really respect the fact that he went out of his way, seemingly, to do a lot of reading and practice into acting over the 9 months since they did Sweet Today. He knew after the fact, probably based on the reviews and everything, that his acting wasn't that great, and he even said, I wish you would have tore into me back then, because you know, he kind of mumbled it, but basically he would have wanted to improve. He wished he knew that, because he didn't know. It was his first time acting. And I really appreciate that, because I always want constructive criticism. Like, even when people leave comments to insult me, I still try to figure out what they're trying to say in regards to their insult, right? And see if I can improve myself upon it. Now, I would much prefer if they said it in a more constructive way. You know, you don't have to be rude, but you know, some people take that as the same. Like, some people genuinely, like, they work on something and it doesn't come out right, or they're not doing a good enough job, and if you tell them that, like, you don't even have to word it like that. You could say, could we try to do it this way instead? A lot of people get defensive and they're like, oh, my way's not good enough for you, you know, or something like that. And it's like, just, some people have such a hard time taking criticism. So I really respect when I see someone like Melt here, who, when we first met him, he was kind of like that model, like, the way they introduced him was from, like, Kana's perspective, I think. And I think Kana assumed a lot about Melt. And because of those assumptions, it made me assume a lot about Melt as well. Whereas he's nothing like what my initial impressions of, like, oh, he's just like a cocky model who's doing this and not really trying and stuff like that. But now we see him here and it's like, oh, he was just doing his best on his first acting job and just didn't know better, and no one told him because no one seemed to really care, because Sweet Today ended up just being a way to show off upcoming models and stuff like that, rather than it trying to be like a good adaptation. But anyway, that was a really cool moment. I really like that. But yeah, moving down my list, we had the double brushing. But before that, we had them having the conversation at the where they got drinks, and that was kind of where they talked about, like, basically her unhappiness with the way the script has gone, and she tried to send in revisions and they didn't go her way. We'll get more into that in a few. But yeah, the double brushing, that's hilarious. I have so many extra teeth brush because or toothbrushes. Is it teeth brush, or like if you have multiple, or is it toothbrushes? Probably toothbrushes, right? But I have so many toothbrushes like that are just stored away because I go to my dentist every 6 months to get my teeth cleaned, and every single time they give me like a baggie of floss, which I never use all the floss either, so I have like a shit ton of floss, and the what's it called? A toothbrush. So I don't use like an electric toothbrush or anything. I just use like the normal, just regular brush ones that they give you there. Might not be the best toothbrush to use, but it's what I've used for a while now. When I was younger, I used the electric ones, but honestly, I can't like. I get just shivers thinking about like I'd every now and then touch like the vibrating, like not the brush, but like the plastic part on my tooth, and that would like vibrate on my tooth, and the feeling of that, I hate it so much. I ended up like I dealt with it for a while when I had electric ones, but at one point I stopped using the electric and just went back to a normal one, and I haven't gone back ever since. But yeah, I could do that. Just have two of them going at once. Brush my teeth twice as fast. No, I feel like yes, maybe that could work if I'm gonna take it seriously, the whole double brushing. Maybe if you got really good at it, but I feel like I'd be trying to like finagle them around each other too much. That would waste too much time, and I could have just brushed normally in that time, right? So anyway, one of the things Akibo said, it's Akibo, right? Or Abiko. There we go. My B's and K's look kind of similar when I wrote them down with my stylus. Abiko was saying about her, she's like, my characters aren't idiots. And then Goa, I think it was Goa, started to say, well, that's what happens with stage plays or something. And then he got cut off. And I wonder if what he was going with that is like, in order to create more dramatic, like, we had Aqua at the end of the episode here saying that they're very over dramatic in plays, right? I wonder if that's part of it, where Abiko's seeing her characters make kind of dumb, cliched decisions because it looks better in a play, because typically a play portrays things like this, you know? And maybe with the declining of plays being shown, maybe Abiko doing a scriptwrite is just what this needs. Like, maybe she will freshen up. Maybe people are too stuck in like the, oh, stage plays are usually done like this, so we'll keep doing them like this. And maybe Abiko will bring a fresh perspective into it, and maybe make it a hit. We'll see. But yeah, so I don't know if that's the case where like to create more like dramatic tension and stuff like that in the play, they dumbed the characters down to make like stupid choices that would result in drama, right? Is that what she was kind of getting at? But they kind of stopped her before she went a little bit too far there. But we also had the whole game of telephone, which is really cool to get into the industry a bit, where we have the source material creator who then sends her feelings to the like editor, who then sends it, or the sub editor, and then that sends it to the editor, and then that sends it to like the manager, and then that sends it to, you know, it just goes through like 5 or 6 people before it actually gets to the script writer. So by the time it got there, she had like this whole paragraph that she ranted, and it came out to be like one sentence of like, can you make the characters a little bit more, I can't remember the word they used there, make their emotions a little more like noticeable, I think is what the word was supposed to mean, but I can't remember the specific word they used. So I thought that was really interesting, to get a look into how that all like works in the background, because I didn't realize it goes through so many people. I also don't necessarily know how it does work going from like the adapt, or like the, you know, going from the source material to the adaptation. How much is the original author involved and stuff like that? How much say do they get? And I think it's different with every situation, but yeah, I found it really fascinating to get a little like deep dive into this. And they also said that a lot of mangakas are, I guess maybe the term would be introverted, where they're not really good with people. They're a little bit more shy and stuff like that. They don't have the best communication skills. I wonder how accurate that is. in the way, maybe not the way that I worded it. I might have worded it poorly, but the way they worded it in the show, I wonder if that's accurate or not. But it probably is. I mean, a lot of the stuff the show talks about sounds like it would be pretty accurate when it comes to making content and or making this kind of content and everything. So, but yeah, poor Goa, he got reamed out by Abiko, and then she just wants to take over writing the script. And I mean, it does suck. This kind of thing probably I mean, he said it happens a lot, and I feel bad for him the way he spoke about scriptwriters. You know, it's one of those things where it's like you think about the actors getting reamed out, and you think about, you know, the director, maybe people being like, I don't like the director for this one or something like that. But I never really think about the scriptwriter being ripped apart. But I guess that is the case. Like whenever I've gotten angry at a anime that didn't adapt properly, I guess I'm probably typically angry at the scriptwriter then, right? So but usually I don't get mad at a specific person. Usually I don't go and look up the scriptwriter's name and be like, I hate this guy, you know? But in a general sense, but he talked about how he gets, like, or not, maybe not he specifically, but scriptwriters in general get reamed out a lot and stuff like that if you can't, like, between either the original creator or you put out something boring and people don't like it, or you don't put out or you change it too much from the source material, and even if it's good, people still don't like it because it's too different from the source material, and then you follow the source material too closely, and then you don't get any credit because they're like, oh, he didn't even do anything, all he did was follow the source material, you know, so then he doesn't get any credit in that regard. So it's like you're playing like this balancing act of trying to make everyone happy, and you're just caught in the middle in this like really difficult spot. And it was really cool to learn about that aspect of this. So, but now we're going on a date with Akane. We have we're going to see a stage play because Aqua has never really seen one nor really has any interest in them, and I guess maybe now that he's in the acting world, maybe he'll come to see a little bit more like see a little more respect in it or something, you know, we'll see. Or maybe he won't. But maybe sometimes people's excitement over something, like Akane seems to love stage plays, right? Her excitement might be contagious to Aqua, right? I've had that where I haven't been interested in something, but someone who is very interested in something will drag me along to it, and their excitement over it will make me excited, right? And I mean, it doesn't even have to be in like the physical sense. Like, I play games on Discord with my friends, and there'll be a game that I'm like not too excited to play, but I'll get on it and play with them. And because they're having so much fun, I start to have fun, right? But even though when I first got the game, I was like, I don't think I'm gonna have fun on this, you know? So, but anyway, really the last thing was something earlier in the episode that I kind of forgot to talk about, is I mean, I briefly did during the reaction, but the fact of I just had talked in the intro about the lead actor, Taiki, I'm sorry, that was way wrong, Taiki, being, you know, not very clean shaven, kind of sluggish and everything, but then when he brought it, you know, it was super impressive and really cool to have that as a change for his personality versus, you know, the character he's playing. I thought that was really neat. But then in this episode, we kind of had them address it again, where we see him sitting there, not really like getting up to address the new actors coming in the room and things like that. And was that the director, whoever that was, that went over and like, you know, I thought he was gonna like kick him in the face like real hard, or like, you know, sometimes there's the anime jokes where people hit people like probably way harder than anyone should hit a person. But no, it was actually, I kind of like the realism in it where he just kind of like pushes them with his foot. It's also on the job site, so you don't want to injure someone and deal with that liability and everything. But yeah, so I like how they but they didn't really talk about it too much. I like how it was very visual in that, if you didn't notice in the first the first episode of season 2, you know, they really hung a candle on it this episode, but also didn't didn't have the characters be like, oh, he's really like sluggish, and then we get into what happened in the first episode where he just, brings it, and that was really neat. It'd be really neat to watch this episode and then episode 2 in terms of Taiki's character, anyway. Or, I'm sorry, this episode and then episode 1. Did I say it wrong the first time? Like, reverse the order of these two. And so that way you see him and be like, what is this? Like, the first time you ever see him, right? He's just like, what is this guy just sitting here not really showing much respect or whatever? And then have him, like, step into the role in episode 1 and just be like, oh shit, this guy's a beast, So, anyways, guys, that's going to be it from me. Thank you so much for watching. Hit that subscribe button if you enjoyed. Check out my Patreon if you want to see more. Links in the description below should be popping up on the screen. 2 episodes ahead through the early access tier on there. Check it out. More stuff with the Patreon show and Patreon Rewatch. I'm rewatching Attack on Titan Season 1 and 2 on there right now. If you want to get access to that and all that extra content, check that out as well. And I will see you guys in my future reactions. Bye-bye.